There's no place in this whole wide world that I would rather be. Moonlight shining bright, the sun is sinking down, spinning round, paint the ground in gold and red and brown. Another fall comes down, another fall comes round. Whippoorwill, come sing your song. The sun is sinking down. I watched two deer draw near to hear. They left without a sound. Spirits moving through the trees, no telling where they're bound. I'd play this song for anyone who wants to hang around. Moonlight shining bright, the sun is going down, spinning round, floating down, all gold and red and brown. Another fall comes down, another fall comes round. Hoot owls calling out to me, evening's coming round. This is where we're meant to be. Just look at what we found. Circle dance goes round again, and you're still here with me. There's no place in this whole wide world that I would rather be. Moonlight shining bright, the sun is sinking down, spinning round, paint the ground in gold and red and brown. Another fall comes down. Another fall comes round. Whippoorwill, come sing your song. The sun is sinking down. I watched two deer draw near to hear. They'd left without a sound. Spirits moving through the trees, no telling where they're bound. I'd play this song.
Don told the contractor how to have the cabinets, and nobody thought about that short people couldn't reach anything.
That's right.
There you go.
I might stand on it today, like really towering.
Yeah. It's 11:01. Oh, you are a very good class. On behalf of the Worship Committee, welcome to Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Columbia. My name is Pat Moore, and our minister is the Reverend Stephen Robinson. We'd like to remind you to stay connected with our community by keeping an eye on the following communications. We've got our recurring events that are included in the calendar in your order of service, and special events are also coming up. We provide an email every Thursday to keep you informed about all the events. So there's several ways you can keep up. Make sure we have your email address, though. And listen to any special announcements at the end of today's service, and we do have 2 short ones at the end of the service. We'd like to remind everybody, however, to submit announcements in advance so we can have them in writing. We warmly welcome families with children and other child care during our service for children up to 4 years, and we have a designated seating area right back there where children 4 to 7 can engage in quiet play. Today, after the story for all ages, the children will be going to their classes. Today's flowers, which I just saw, they're beautiful, are donated by a wonderful team of volunteers. We sincerely appreciate having flowers every Sunday. Please silence all your devices as we center ourselves on today's service and listen to the prelude.
This morning, I invite our choir chalice voices forward to sing. A piece by John Bell, translated into Spanish for our Unitarian Universalists Spanish language hymnal. This is called Brille tu luz. And the words are translated roughly as, shine your light, illuminate the darkness, and fear will go away.
Thank you, Chalice Voices. If you'll now rise with me in body or spirit and join me in the congregational covenant in the order of service. Love is the doctrine of this congregation. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, and serve others in community. Thus do we covenant with one another. Please be seated. We say this every Sunday, so there's going to be a test. Get out your number 2 pencils. Seriously, we say this because we mean it. Unitarian Universalism is a diverse and non-creedal religion. Our community is focused on deeds, not creeds. We're a covenantal religion, which means we don't have to believe the same in order to treat each other the same, with respect, equity, compassion, and dignity. We place love at the center of our values, embracing and welcoming all people. And if you'd like to know UU aspirations, just go to the 7 principles and you can see what we want to do. We're delighted to welcome all of our guests and visitors today. And today, he said he wants to be known as Mic Boy. Emilio is going to take around the mic for visitors. Do we have any visitors today?
Kind of big. Hey guys, my name's Catherine. I just started graduate school at USC, and I'm looking for a new community.
Welcome, Catherine.
Anybody else?
Thank you, Emilio. If you'd like to learn more about UUCC, there are visitor cards in the pocket on the back of each chair. If you fill one out and place it in the collection plate, we'll email you about all of our events. Our board members and committee chairs also welcome your questions and comments. You'll notice that board members have green name tags. Thank you all for being here. Now's the time for the official beginning of our service with our chalice lighter. Renee? Our chalice lighter today is Renee Dante, who joined us in August of 2004. Renee enjoys being a part of the choir, Chalice Voices, and helping with UUCC Archive whenever possible. And she says she loves to pester the amazing kitchen volunteers with unsolicited help. At the same time, not signing up to volunteer. We got to change that, Renee.
Our opening hymn today is When We Are Singing. It's the insert that you found in your order of service. This is from the Justice Choir Songbook with words by Kevin Padworski. And the music comes from a Mexican hymn that was transcribed from an interview in Los Angeles with a woman following a worship service. Kevin, who wrote the words, writes, "I wrote this text and arranged the song with the hope that through the practice of singing together, even those with seemingly unsurpassable differences find common ground and community." I invite you to rise in body or spirit to join in singing.
seated. I invite our children and youth to join me down front for the story for all ages. Since I have to sit, you get to sit, right? Good morning. How are you all today? Did you hear Miss Pat when she was doing the service leading part? And she said you will be dismissed to RE classes today. Did you all hear that? No? Maybe we should ask the adults if any of them were listening to you, Pat. Might not just be a kid thing, right? So let's see, you're going out for RE classes. What do you think you're going to do today? Art? All right, what else? Can building. I was thinking like ice cream. No? Oh, there's no ice cream today? Sorry. Well, I was thinking like a road trip. No? None of that's happening? Maybe later. Man, I'm not good at this, Jonathan. What do you think you're going to be doing if it's not? I know, I did. So the good thing is there's a grocery store really close. So maybe that's what we are going to do today. Yes, it is. Not at all. Jonathan told me to improv. That's what happens. All right, you tell me, what do you think you're doing today?
Maybe making a tower out of
Cans. Ice cream cones. We've already heard. Maybe a tower out of cans. We already heard artwork. Anything else you think you might do in the RE?
Ask the older kids.
The older kids, what do you think? They're still stuck on the ice cream. Sorry. Oh, recreational art. All right. What else?
When we did the castle things.
Oh. All right, might be doing that. Well, I wonder how we could find out what we're doing. Yeah, we could ask someone, right? Can I hand it off to one of you to answer that question?
Yeah, okay. I don't know what I'm going to say at this point. So no cans today, but our RE program is starting today, and we're going to get started a little simple. We will do some art. We're going to divide up into two groups. Well, really three. And I can tell you what the elementary group is going to be. Who's in the elementary group? Can you raise your hand if you're going to be in the elementary group? Who's kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, right? So they're going to come with me. You guys are going to come with me, and we're going to read a story. I have my story here, and I have lots of things to go along with my story. And we probably are going to get a chance to go outside and pretend to be animals. If you will help me pretend to be animals. It'll be fun, I promise. Mary Pepper's looking at me like, really?
You're gonna be a wolf.
And then the middle school group, where's my middle schoolers? We got middle school here. So yeah, middle school, I think my understanding is middle school is gonna talk about, well, maybe ice cream. So they get to experience what I'm experiencing right now. We're gonna talk about what happens when life throws you curveballs and problems and tough decisions, and they're gonna share how they might have responded to those tough decisions in life. And that's two groups I know of. Do you want to share what high school is doing, or do you want to ask another question?
All right. So I'm wondering, do we need any help out there? Yeah?
Always.
Yeah? Kate?
Okay, thanks. I got nominated for this, but I'm in good company. We really, really need your help. As you guys know, we are losing our DRE, which is really a shame. But there are so many wonderful people with such a wide variety of experiences here. So if you're asking yourself, like, does she mean me? Yes, I mean you. Whether you have kids, no kids, furry kids, step kids, we need you. We also want you to psych up your neighbors, so turn to the person to your side. If that person has a pulse, we want them too. So we will be coming to ask you if you can volunteer just 1 or 2 times this whole year to help with the youth of our congregation. And the good news is there is already a curriculum in place. So really, you are just there to facilitate, to interact, and to help us pass on our values to the youth of this congregation. They're the ones who are going to go out into the world and represent UU values to a world that really desperately needs them. So thank you in advance for signing up when we hit you up after the service.
We have 3 people who are assisting today, but they would stand up.
All right, 3 people assisting.
So every group needs an assistant.
Yeah.
And these are our 3 assistants for our 3 groups.
Yeah. All right.
But we're going to have some fun.
So here's the big question. So this is a part of our service that's the story for all ages. So what is the story for all ages today? Got any idea?
Talking about what we're going to do after.
Apparently that was part of it. What else?
We give a story to get them to get an ice cream.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You know what I think? I think the story is you. You are the story for all ages, and me.
And everyone.
That's right. Our congregation wants you to have a great year, and so we're getting our RE program kicked off today. You are the story for all ages today, and I hope you have a great time back there. And please, if you are able to help out, know that it will be a lot more fun and a lot less improv than we did today.
Please join me in singing the children out.
Can already tell that I'm going to get fired for that improv work. That is mirror how I get myself in trouble at home as well, so that works. Today, our opening words come from a writer by the name of Jessica Purple Rodella. And what I'm reading today from her is The Prayer of the War Atheist. My prayer today is that I learn to stay a war atheist. My prayer today for each of us, for everyone in this nation and in this world, is that we all learn to be war atheists. I don't believe in war and violence anymore. My prayer today is that I never again succumb to fear which seduces me to believe that the expediency of violence provides a permanent answer. Fear which clouds my judgment and convinces me firmly that violence is a fix. Fear which tempts me to justify violence, teasing its response from defensive toward offensive action. Fear which feeds the lie, allowing us to collaborate with violent euphemisms that bury our need to count the victims of our violence. Fear that misnames collateral damage as friendly fire and just war. Fear is the ultimate weapon of mass destruction. Fear is the ultimate cause of war, and I just don't believe in it. Yes, I pray to stay a war atheist. I pray that we not be fooled by the lure of a violent culture. Let us instead reach toward healing. Let us resolve to heal the world, to teach the world, and wield only the sword of truth. Let us arm ourselves with satyagraha. Satyagraha, Gandhi's word for his steady, assertive, nonviolent rebellion, meaning soul force. Satyagraha defeats our fears. Satyagraha reclaims our courage. Satyagraha encourages our creativity. Satyagraha informs our hopes. My prayer today is for Satyagraha, the prayer of the war atheist. Let us lay down our sword and our shield. I ain't gonna believe in war no more. This time we create a moment in our service to light candles of community, candles that give us a chance to share our joys with each other, but also an opportunity to open up about our sorrows, the heaviness in our hearts that we are carrying. Today, I invite you, if you have a candle, to please come forward and briefly share your joy or concern and place it here. I'm going to begin today with a candle that I was asked to light on behalf of the family of Jim Verne. As we said goodbye to Jim this week, we light this candle of love and support for Jenny and the family, and a candle of memory and celebration for who Jim is.
So I'm Larry Siegel, and this is that was a candle of joy. We went to Charleston last week. My daughter came in from California, and we spent a few days in Charleston. We went to the beach. We also, so speaking of advocacy, she was then going to go on to Washington. She's a pediatric dermatologist, and was going to advocate with 2 days of teaching her how to do it, talk to congressmen about how to improve Medicare. So that's one thing. And another joy, I'll try not to stay here for hours, but was that I'm on the Academy of Pediatrics Environmental Committee, and we had a meeting this week, and somebody was talking about how to improve motivation for the environment, and actually I hope week after next, this is an advertisement for the forum, that the people on the environmental committee, I don't see Caroline here anywhere, but will come to the forum, because we'll have a talk on the environment, mental health aspects for one thing of the environment, which is what this lady talked about, and generally on the environment. And with that, I'll get out and maybe let somebody else talk too. Okay.
Thank you so much, Emilio. Good morning. I'm Kate Noel Wells, and I just have a joy that I had to share with you all. Most of you have probably heard by now that I have a children's book that, after a long, long lead time for, came out last week. It, as of yesterday, is officially a bestseller. So, yeah, thank you. So what that means, like in Amazon speak, is that it hit #1, and in fact, not one, but 2 of its 3 categories it's listed in. And I gotta say, even though it only made it to #5 in the 3rd category, it was the top new release, and I'm probably the most proud of this category because it's children's inspirational and personal growth. So for a brief moment in time, I was outselling books like Charlotte's Web and such classics. So, and a big, big thank you for the support I've received from people here. Melissa and Easton and Annette were at my book reading yesterday. Mike Sullivan brought me his copy to sign today. And, just lots of people have been giving warm thoughts and support, and I am very, very grateful. Oh, also, and not least to Linda Brennison and Lydia Ureta, who asked this to be like one of the books that we do during service. So if you're here October 5th, you will get to hear it as the story for all ages. Thank you.
This is a two-part candle. First is for remembering 9/11,
and mostly, I don't think anybody in this room doesn't remember where you were when 9/11 hit. I was in a faculty meeting, and a staff person came in and talked to our dean quietly, and she asked for a TV to be brought in the room. And we didn't see the first plane hit, but we saw the second, and we saw it fall. But, just like all the major things, I remember where I was when JFK was killed. But it just sticks in your mind, and we want you to think about all the family that's left and still dealing with this.
yeah. And I was in Arlington, Virginia at a Department of Motor Vehicles office doing a survey, and it was surreal. But anyway, and the second one is I am lighting this candle for Charlie Kirk. He advocated vigorously for many hateful and harmful policies that I and we abhor. But he actively debated and engaged with people he disagreed with, trying to persuade with words, not violence. He was a human being. As Governor Cox of Utah said, political violence metastasizes. Melissa Hartman of Minnesota was killed in June of 2025, and we have to find an off-ramp. Listening and grieving together and talking with each other is what we have to do.
We've lived through lots of political violence, particularly in the civil rights movement, and we hope that it will stop.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry.
Hi, I'm Susan Crow. I've been attending here since February, I think. This isn't really a joy or concern. I guess you would call it a hopefulness. Last night, I attended a play in Charleston. It's been 10 years since the Charleston church shooting. In the audience was Polly Shepard, the one woman that the shooter allowed to survive so that she could repeat his story. She actually had a role in the play and afterwards got on stage for Q&A, and I had the chance to interact with her briefly. I sat there the whole time thinking, what do you say to someone who has been through what she went through? And all I could think to say was, what you saw, what you endured, I'm going to be like Deb now. What trauma you experienced is I can't even begin to comprehend it, but I don't want to speak about that. I want to speak about you. I read up on you and saw that your career was in nursing. And I said, I just want to honor you and thank you for choosing to spend your life as a healer. So hopefully she appreciated that. But what I wanted to share is kind of to the point you were just making about us coming together. She is so inspirational to see someone who witnessed 9 loved ones murdered in front of her. She is the most calm, peaceful, gracious human you could ever imagine. And she doesn't hold hate about it in her heart. She's just trying to move forward. So she gives me hope. And that's what I wanted to share.
I'm Kevin McKinney. This is fundamentally a candle of gratitude. many of you here now were here last night when I got to celebrate the release of my album, Mercury Rising. We managed to raise $249 for the Social Action Committee and for the General Fund. Thank you to everybody who helped make it happen. Thank you to everybody who came and donated. I was going to say more, but instead I'm going to reprise something for about a minute because it bears on what we just heard, I think. We will always remember. We will always remember. We will always remember the ones who were taken away. We will never surrender. We will never surrender. We will never surrender our whole humanity.
Hi, I'm Chuck Ashley. I'm lighting a candle today for my dear friend and sister, Janice Klein Cars, who is no longer here in person, but who is here in spirit. Janice is currently struggling with many personal and health issues. She is watching this service today. It would help her tremendously if those of you here who love her and support her, and if she has touched your life in any way, would you please show her by simply raising your hand?
I'm Rebecca, and on Thursday, I'm going to be coming to be a bionic woman. On Thursday, I'm having my right shoulder removed and titanium put in me for a shoulder. So I just covet the prayers or good intentions and thoughts of the community, that you'd be thinking of the surgical team, that they would be at their best, and also after the surgery, that I could be gracious. Heard there might be a little bit of pain, so I want to be gracious with that. Thank you.
Hey, I'm Andy Wells, and I hate to add on to everything that people have already been talking about, but I do want to bring a candle of concern for all of the changes that are affecting Medicaid, and the reason for that is multifactorial. So I don't know how many people here use Medicaid personally, but the important thing about Medicaid is it actually funds these big academic institutions, such as the one down the road here, and the one that I trained at, which provides new physicians, new nurses, and new staff that can help cure. And if you think about anybody you know, I bet you somebody knows someone who's had to go to a big institution somewhere else to get a cancer therapy, to get a special kind of surgery, a unique thing where that specialist is, and those hospitals are hemorrhaging money left and right. The institution I trained at is losing $18 million a month because of Medicaid cuts. They've already cut out 50 members of their physician staff because of that too. So not only is it a safety net hospital that relies on federal funding and state funding, but on top of that, it's where all that brain trust is that we use for medicine to advance care and save patients. So. And rural hospitals too. Great point, Larry. Yeah.
And our premiums are
And yep. So anyway, this affects every single person here.
Well, I don't have a candle because we ran out. Today's my birthday. I'm 47 years young, and I've had a lot of spiritual milestones in the last year, and they say it takes a village. And, just being around positive people like you guys has helped me out a lot, helped me heal through my trauma, and just helped me reach each level of spirituality. And one thing within the shaman community that we practice a lot is gratitude. And every day I take inventory of the things that I'm blessed with, and this community is one of them. Thank you very much for being a supporting and loving community.
Hi, everybody. I'm Christina Seal, and I'm lighting a candle of concern for my son who fell earlier this week, coming down some steps outside of his apartment, and he has a fractured left leg. So if you could send out really good vibes for him, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name's Elisa. And last time I was here talking about a school shooting in Minneapolis. And I'm here again with what we used to do all the time a couple months ago, which is I'm here with my imaginary candle. But if I came up here every Sunday, anytime there was a shooting, I would be here every Sunday. And a piece that I read that was really impactful is that there are more mass shootings every year than there are days in the year. We are the only country that has this problem. And as a youth in America, I am slowly losing hope that this problem will ever be fixed. Because when we see things like Charlie Kirk and we see how the media responds, it's always these crazy liberals. Anytime they have a problem, what did they do? Oh, and this, that, and the other. And we always pinpoint a group of people. And I wonder when the time will be that we start saying, what is the problem and how are we going to fix it? When are we going to make America a safer place for our youth and for people to share their opinions safely?
The last candle we light represents our silent joys and concerns. Take just a moment to remember everything that's been shared. Thank you. Today we are preparing for our offering, and a reminder that our Share the Plate recipient is the Harriet Hancock Center here in Columbia, just up the road on Woodrow Street. And a big thanks to those and the work that they are doing. Anna is going to share our offertory.
This morning's offertory music is from 3 pieces for piano by Mexican composer Jose Pablo Moncayo. He was a leading figure in his country's musical nationalism movement and lived from 1912 to 1958. He said, "My music must first be deeply Mexican in order to become universal."
Invite our ushers to come and receive our offering. Receive our offering today, symbol of our commitment to our good work. One of the things I've learned to do as a minister, or recognize as a minister, that you can plan sermons out in advance, and then the week causes you to need to adapt. And sometimes I've found myself wanting to abandon the topic and find a way to address the heaviness that's going on. But one of the things I remember hearing Joseph Campbell say in a conversation with Bill Moyers was to trust the process and trust the universe. And so we will press on with our topic for the day and find the ways that the universe will connect. September 15th starts Hispanic Heritage Month. Begins in the middle of the month of September and goes until October 15th. And hopefully this is a chance for us to counter the messages that are being said in the media and in our culture about Hispanic people in this country, and to provide a countermeasure to what has become an immigration crisis among us, and maybe even take a reprieve of that and celebrate the life of Hispanic Heritage Month, particularly the life of the painter whose artwork is featured on our order of service, Jose Clemente Orozco. He was born in 1883 in a village at the base of an active volcano in Mexico, and he grew up in poverty. Growing up in poverty and always wanting to somehow fit in among his classmates, he found painting was his passion at the age of 8 and was accepted into the Posada Academy in his home village to study artwork. But his family saw only a path of poverty in his future. This is where the artist can say amen to that. And so they wanted him to try different paths. And so he tried agricultural engineering. And while studying that, he developed typhoid and had to come home and was ill. And then he studied architecture. And while he was studying architecture, his father died unexpectedly. And so he came home and ran the store in his hometown. And one day he was preparing gunpowder for fireworks that they were selling for Independence Day. And in the midst of preparing the gunpowder and getting the fireworks ready, there was a huge explosion in the store, to which he lost one of his hands. I saw a great interview with his son and his nephew, and his nephew said that it was only as an adult that he remembered that story, because he remembers going up to Jose and saying, "Uncle, how did you lose your hand?" And he said, "The dog bit it off." To which he was terrified of dogs from that point on. Jose interpreted losing his hand as, okay, this frees me up now. No one can say you can't pursue life as a painter. And so that's exactly what he did. He devoted his life to painting about the Mexican Revolution, which became this crucible experience that informed all of his artwork. He was surrounded constantly by tragic death and the passion of the people standing against oppressive dictatorship. He lived in the tension and the deep appreciation and belief, as he described, in people being good, but also seeing the worst of humanity as they slaughtered each other. He came into the U.S. in 1917, and at the time, his artwork was seen as provocative and politically dividing. And so 90 of his pieces of art that he was planning to come and show in San Francisco and New York were destroyed as he was entering the country. He did take the work that he survived and put them on display in San Francisco and New York, and found the ability, as we were dealing in the U.S. here with feelings around World War I, began to paint artwork around that topic as well. As a struggling artist, he moved back to Mexico and did a series on the personal reflection of the revolution, the Mexican Revolution, and began painting murals on walls. He says about murals, as he decided to make that his medium, that murals are visual Bibles. They point to and provide the conscience to the people. In his own words, he said, "Errors and exaggerations do not matter. What matters is boldness and thinking with a strong pitched voice, and speaking out about those things as one feels them in the moment of speaking, and having the temerity to proclaim what one believes to be true without fear of the consequences. If one were to await the possession of absolute truth, one must be either a fool or a mute. If the creative impulse were muted, the world would then be stayed on its march." Through murals in New York and at Dartmouth and in Mexico, he painted these murals that speak to the conscious, speak to depression, workers' rights. He painted murals about lynchings. He painted murals about poor health care and the death of impoverished people suffering because of the healthcare crisis in the U.S. He was always sticking it to you, in his words, with paintings. That's how he saw his work, as sticking it to you. You walk into a building expecting to just sit down and eat lunch in a cafeteria on 66th Street in New York, and all of a sudden on the wall, there's this huge mural that, in Jose's words, sticks it to you as you're eating your lunch. His kind of huge thing was that he painted the ceiling in Guadalajara and New Pisco that was known as the Sistine Chapel of the Americas, that really set him on the map. The painting that we have today is a series of 5 paintings that he is on display in that new school building and still on display in the Orozco room in New York on 66th Street. This painting was one of 5 that was called A Call to Revolution. And the one that we have on the cover of our order of service is entitled The Table of Universal Brotherhood. So take a second and just look at what you see in that painting. Gathered around that table, all that he's trying to represent. What do you see on the table? A book. What do you think he thought was the thing that needed to be consumed in order to sit around the table of universal brotherhood? We must be a people that are willing to learn from each other, he said, and we must be a willing people to learn in general. In 2010, in a project called A Reimagining Orozco, Parsons, Anna Maria, and Stephen Kellen created a project for their students where they said, we want you to take Orozco's painting of the Table of Universal Brotherhood and turn it into an animation and bring it into the 21st century. And in bringing it to the 21st century, they asked the question of the students, in your world today, who's sitting around that table? This is the vision of Orozco. Who do you see? And the animation then that they created is this endless cycle that begins with the original version of the Table of Universal Brotherhood, and then goes to seeing them communicating with each other. And those students decided, nothing has really changed in the 21st century. We still need to gather around this table. The only difference is there are new versions of war, new versions of suffering, new versions of religious strife, and there's still a lack of clear communication. And so they began tearing the table apart in this animation and bringing different figures of the 20th century, and ends with, in the time that they were writing, President Obama imaging Sisyphus pushing the rock up the hill. It is an endless, in their words, oil spill that blurs into blank pages then at the end, realizing that we constantly are hurting ourselves, destroying ourselves as a culture. They believe that the table of universal brotherhood is the cure. And so they came back and ended their animation with that original book on the table with the original faces gathered together, believing it was the cure for the culture if we came to the table, if we were willing to come to the table. Makes me wonder, could this be the cure for our immigration crisis if we're willing to sit at the table of universal brotherhood and listen and learn from each other? What would it look like for the people involved in Palestine and Gaza and Israel to come together at the table of universal brotherhood? Would they be able to continue the acts of violence that are happening? One of the things I agree with the students is that we are a broken culture. We watched the public execution of a person this week. And many of us in our culture scrolled through it on social media in between funny cat videos and AI-generated humor. In watching it, we ran to political camps to either elevate that person to sainthood or turn him into an irredeemable demon. And in all of it, violence becomes the method of dealing with our intolerance for listening to each other and our shallow ability to see our human connection to someone with whom we do not agree. One of the things we have learned is that words are harmful. I grew up hearing a phrase, and my mom would tell me when someone would pick on me at school, you say it with me, sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never harm me. That is absolutely false. I've had bruises from sticks and stones that heal. I still am healing from words that have hurt. Words are damaging in our culture. It is actually not violence that's destroying our humanity in this culture. Violence is the natural manifestation of the sewer that we are swimming in. It's the disease that's eating away at our being. We are a broken people. Orozco's table is calling us to come and sit together. He envisioned this revolutionary table that was not drenched in the blood of war, but scattered with books of learning and dialogue. It is a table where our voices are heard, but just as important, our ears are tuned to listening. The table, if you look at it, does not lend itself to winners and losers. The format of conversations are not debates to exert dominance, but rather dialogues to achieve understanding. It is a table of hope supported by the legs of love, tolerance, and connection. We as human beings are making a game of destroying each other, and in turn, we're destroying ourselves. We have to bring ourselves to this table. We have to. You know, one of the images in the art of Unitarian history is a painting of the Edict of Torda, where at the preaching of Francis David, King John of Hungary developed religious tolerance for people. And that came on the heels of edict after edict after edict. And you know what the edicts were? Blessing and prescription for persecuting other people of other faiths. One edict would come and say, it's okay to attack the Lutherans and hurt them. Words before violence. Another edict of words said, it's okay for the Lutherans to attack the Calvinists. It's okay to demonize the Catholics. It's okay to turn against other people and other cultures and see them as the enemy. And that was just words. Edicts are words. Until Francis David stood and said, we have to do something different, and invited them to the table of universal fellowship and said, we have to develop tolerance. I don't know about you, but that makes me proud to know in 1568, someone in our history said, bring us to the table. We can do this. We can come to this table built on love and tolerance. We can come to this table that is designed to be a place of listening and learning. Our history as Unitarians was born on that invitation to come together to a table of universal humanity, to learn to love, accept, and tolerate, and exist together. And here we find ourselves in a crisis of edicts again. Edict after edict. They're not coming in the normal fashion of the edicts in the 1500s. They are coming on social media. They are coming in our culture of media. They are coming from the White House to the personal houses of our homes. Edict after edict that is saying, if you don't like someone, destroy them. If you don't think they are worth sharing their opinion, take them out. The words are killing us from the inside out, and the violence is just a manifestation of what is already dying. So we find ourselves in a crisis again, and history is saying to you and me here at the UUCC today, we have a map to climb out of the sewer. We have to answer the call of history and firmly place our chalice on the political and personal tables around us and model a way of being together as human beings that is life-giving instead of life-threatening. We cannot be motivated by the fervor for winning or the fear of losing. You know what? We know how to love. We know how to listen. We know how to learn. And the table that is at the center of our values can absolutely transform our culture if we are willing to accept the invitations ourselves to come and sit at this table, at Orozco's table. The time is now. Orozco says, come to the table.
There will be a change to the closing hymn just because of a touch of inspiration. Let's sing hymn number 407. We're going to sit at the welcome table. We'll save our special hymn 1016 for another Sunday during Hispanic Heritage Month. You can still drum if you want to. Sure. Number 407.
We're gonna
Orozco was studying in New York, he had an opportunity to be with various folks who were studying art, but also studying politics and studying ways to transform our culture. People like Khalil Gibran is someone that he worked with, disciples of Gandhi. And this was one of Orozco's favorite quotes of Gandhi's. And so I share it with us as a way of hopefully creating some hope for us. Gandhi writes, "When I despair, I remember that all through history, the way of truth and love have always won. There have been tyrants and murderers, and for a time, they can seem invincible. But in the end, they always fall."
Please join in singing our congregational benediction.
Be seated for just a second. We have a couple announcements from Pat. Is that good?
We can't use the same microphone, can we? Thank you. This is very short. First, sorry. Okay, no short jokes. One, next, on September 28th, 2 weeks from now, the Animal Ministry Committee is going to be meeting to plan the blessings of the animals in October. And if you have any questions, see Anita Grossman right over there. She's been chair since what, forever? I'm sorry? Okay, it'll be in the e-blast too, okay. And the other thing is, and this is addressed to everybody sitting out here as well as on Zoom, also on September 28th, to celebrate our 75th anniversary, we're going to do a congregational photograph. So please show up. I will probably meet out in the front on September 28th so you can be recorded for posterity.
Hi, can I make an announcement? Hi, everyone. My name is Blake Carrollton. We're almost at the same level. Some of you may know me as Susan Robinson's son. I used to go here when I was a kid. I've come back in recent months after being away from Columbia for 20 years. But in any case, I'm here to announce that I'm putting on an event. It's a fashion show / dog show with dogs from the shelter to try to get them adopted. And the proceeds from the show will go back to the shelter. It's happening on October 5th, the same day as the Animal Ministries Animal Blessing. And Reverend Stephen Robinson will be at the fashion show to bless those dogs as well. I hope that you will come out and or just promote the event. I've put flyers out on the tables in the fellowship hall with the QR code so you can scan that and go to the site to get tickets. You can join us virtually, in person, or just donate. So I would appreciate that. And amidst all of this discussion of death and division in our society, I hope that this is a cause that we can all agree on is a good thing, and it'll be a good time and hopefully lighthearted amidst all of these difficult things that we're all going through in society. Thank you.
Thank you, Blake. It actually says on Blake's driver's license, Susan Robinson's son. That's all right. I just wanted to say before we dismiss today, during the service I could feel the heat from the candles of community. I think it was 10 candles burning there. And that's with 2 folks coming up that didn't have a candle to light. The heat reminds me of how heavy our hearts are right now. And so I just invite you to talk to each other, to lean on each other in the midst of everything that we are going through in our culture, but everything also in our personal lives as well. And I'm here for you too. Don't hesitate to reach out to me if you're struggling. Thank you for being here, being connected in this community. And if this is your first time visiting with us, then hopefully you've made the decision that this is home. If not, let us convince you that this is the place to be, and stick around for a time of fellowship. Thank you for being here.